Welcome to Eye on Plainsboro. My name is Anthony Canker. I'm the Township Administrator for Plainsboro. You're used to seeing us before a camera or in a setting on location. But because of the virus, we've gone to a virtual Eye on Plainsboro mode. Today, we're fortunate enough to have three of our department directors to speak about what is going on in their department on the scenario of the COVID virus. With us today is Brian Miller, our Director of Code Enforcement, Les Barger, our Planning Director, and Neil Blitz, our Director of Public Works. Before I turn it over to Brian, as of as of March 17th, the municipal building has been closed to the public, and the only operations that are happening in the municipal building is that the department heads were coming in every day of the week to do essential services in addition to the police department, who are fully manned and working. Over the last 4 or 5 weeks, we've abandoned and contracted our staffing operations to do the basic functions. And I wanted to give you an update today with our other directors on the operations they are pursuing. At the end, I will be talking on behalf of Lenny Solero, our Director of Recreation, who can be with us today because of a health emergency. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Brian Miller to talk about what's going on in code enforcement.
Thank you, Anthony. As you mentioned, the township offices and our department has been closed since March 17th. As a result of that closure, you can imagine our workload has been backed up. We still continue to receive permit applications, phone calls, and inquiries as it relates to resale inspections for housing and even fire prevention questions. One thing that occurred last week was a couple of weeks ago, actually, the governor issued Executive Order 122, which essentially pertained to projects considered essential construction projects. So a litany of questions arose from that. Being in Plainsboro, it's interesting only because we have many of the essential projects identified in that executive order, such as healthcare, utility projects, housing, education, data centers, and projects that also involve government. So with that, starting Monday, which will be May 4th, some of our staff in the building division will return to work on a daily basis, one individual per day. That way we can continue to process permits, perform plan review, and essentially try to process some of the permits that we've received over the past 6 weeks since we've been closed. One of the reasons is not only to comply with the executive order, but also to reduce our backlog when we do resume normal operations. So that's what we've been doing. I've been coming in, like all the other department directors, to the extent, 2 days out of the week, working from home. And I'm sure, like all of us, realizing working from home, we put in far more hours than we do working here. I find myself just continually to process emails on the weekends, after hours, just simply because my department is normally 14 strong, and I've been the only one that's been handling everything. So clearly I can't do the work of 14 people. But we're also employing some other creative solutions to inspections. People that have projects at their residences, there's emergency work that still can take place. The challenge for us is we may not be able to issue a permit, but we can still perform an inspection. And just like we're doing this meeting on a platform like this, we're doing the same types of things for inspections, whether it's photographs, video. We're just trying to find creative solutions to ensure that work is done according to code and that people's safety is not jeopardized.
Brian, can you give some advice to homeowners if they need to get a hold of your department? What is the best way to do it in light of the closed building?
The best way to get hold of us at this point is via email. So if you go to the township's website and you navigate to code enforcement, a lot of the email contact information in there is still valid. My email address is probably the best one. We have mailboxes set up for housing, building, and fire prevention as well. But my individual email address is there. You can just click on the link when you get to the code enforcement department and send me an email. Like I said, probably 70% of my time is spent sorting and responding to emails. So I will return your emails. It may not be immediately, but I will process it accordingly. So any questions you may have, that's about the best way to handle it. We've eliminated the ability for someone to leave a voicemail on our phones because that was just problematic because I was only here a couple days a week and I just could not keep up with the volume of voicemails that were being left on various extensions.
Brian, you want to give your email slowly to the public?
Sure. It's, I'll go phonetic, so it'll be easier. Bravo, B, that's the first initial of my first name. My last name, Miller, Mike, India, Lima, Echo, Romeo. B. Miller at plainsboronj.com.
Thanks a lot, Brian.
Sure.
We're going to move over to Les Varga, our Director of Planning and Zoning. Les, what's cooking in your department?
Well, it's certainly a different situation here for planning and zoning. One of the things that we've not been able to do since the closure over a month ago is actually have the face-to-face contact that we normally do with people, whether they're coming into the counter to talk about a particular zoning issue they may have with a home renovation project, such as a deck or addition, or some larger projects that applicants are talking about, and how they may actually get their applications processed in front of either a zoning board or a planning board. So we've been trying to navigate through those different types of issues, obviously all electronically, having meetings virtually for projects that have been approved but are going through what's called resolution compliance with township professionals, myself, the township planner and zoning officer, Ron Yates, our engineering staff, which is remote through CME, Wisconsin, and actually reviewing plans together with an applicant on the screen and talking virtually about either changes or upcoming areas where they may need to submit additional plans or additional clarification. So to say the least, it's been challenging because typically these things are done in the boardroom or in the rec center where we can lay the plans out and talk figuratively and kind of react accordingly. So it takes an extra level of time and care when we actually do get plans submitted, even to something as easy as a tree removal permit or road opening permit, because we are, like Brian's shop, don't have people actually out doing those types of inspections. So we do ask for a little bit of patience from the public while we're working through these issues. We have not had a planning board meeting or a DRC meeting. That's coming up next month, and those members will be reviewing plans. We'll have those meetings, and we'll have a public hearing at some point on some projects that are in the hopper right now. Or that, and having our staff working remotely. So the agility of being able to just talk to someone at their desk or talk together with other members of staff, either on the phone or remotely through emails. So it's been challenging to keep up with all that type of correspondence, review the plans, review different documents, and still maintain the statutory requirements. There have been some direction provided by the Division of Local Government Services through the state of New Jersey, and we are adhering to that. All the different timeframes that have been established for review, application completeness, and response, those have not changed. So we're still working under the purview of the regulation place. Though this quote-unquote new normal has been challenging to say the least, but we continue to go through it, and I think we're doing a pretty good job keeping up with things and keeping projects moving along, keeping correspondence active, and looking for other future projects as well. So all in all, it's been challenging, but I think, like it's been said more than once, we will get through it together.
Thanks, Les. Is there a date, any planning board meeting that the public should be aware of, or that hasn't been decided yet?
It hasn't been decided yet because the applicants haven't been notified, the DRC members of the board have been notified. You know, it's still adhering to the typical schedule of the third Monday of the month for a planning board meeting, and third Tuesday of the month for a DRC Development Review Committee meeting. We've kind of put our environmental advisory committee meetings on hold for the time being. But there also will be instances where the master plan subcommittee will need to meet, and those are kind of on an as needed basis. But all those will probably start to go live again time in May or June.
Great. And if somebody needs to get a hold of you, would it be through email?
They can go through the email on the township's website, or they can send me an email directly, and I'll just spell it out. It's L Varga, LVARGA, Plainsboro.ng.com. And then you can call me directly on my phone, 908-799-0909, extension 1502. I can't get to all the voicemails like Brian every day, but I will do my best to keep up with it.
All right. Thanks a lot, Les. We're going to turn it over to Neil Bliss, our Director of Public Works. Neil, what do you got for us today?
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. As with the other departments, the COVID-19 has severely impacted the daily operations of the Department of Public Works. As of March 18th, 2020, the department has been working on an extremely limited basis. Currently, our primary activities are just collecting garbage and recycling from municipal-owned garbage pails and recycling bins throughout the town. Additionally, occasionally staff has to go back into parks and take care of specific items that we are alerted through by the police department. The general public needs to know that as of today, April 28, 2020, our park is actually closed for use of the playgrounds and facilities such as tennis courts and basketball courts and any other sporting facility. Those items are still closed. So occasionally we'll have to go back in there.
You can tell we're live.
Yeah. So occasionally DPW staff has to go back in there and remediate or rectify, I should say, certain issues. So as a result of the Department of Public Works pretty much only working on a limited basis, this has then to a work of what's going to happen when our staff comes back. All residents are aware of our brush collection procedures. We did not stop residents from putting out brush during this time, so there's a lot of brush out there. However, once we return to fully staffing and beginning our daily operations, residents are going to have to realize that it's going to take us a while to get through the town. It looks like, as of now, Monday, May 4th, DPW will be returning and taking on the challenges that are left there. That have been, I apologize, are good challenges that are a result of this COVID-19 pandemic, which is the collection of brush. We're going to have to go out to the parks. We're going to have to start mowing and weed whacking. We're going to go out to all our public facilities and start the maintenance of them. And overall, just to get back to work on a 5-day basis.
Thanks, Neil. 2 questions. Are you recommending that residents start putting out their brush now if they haven't already? Number 1. And number 2, is there a way to get a hold of either you or a more universal email address for the public to reach out to Public Works?
Well, first question is residents should still adhere to the guidelines that are out there for brush. Please, please, please do not put your leaves out there because they will not be collected. Unfortunately, a ride around town recently found a lot of residents putting leaves out If you have leaves out, you will receive a violation notice. But no, residents still adhere to the guidelines of our normal brush collection, starting of the current situation. Two, um, you could just reach us at, go onto the website, www.plainsboronj.com. You'll find all our contact information, or you can email me directly at N as in Neil, BLITZ, at Plainsboro,
Thanks a lot, Neil. Before I get to the recreation discussion, I want to give an overview of some of the activities that are still continuing in the municipal building. First, the public is interested in any updates regarding the coronavirus. They can go on our website at the address that Neil mentioned, www.plainsboronj.com. There is a COVID bulletin board that lists any updates of confirmed positive cases of the virus. Second, property tax will due May 1 with a 10-day grace period no later than May 11. 3, municipal court is to come back into some form of operation May 13th. Please go to the website and get more information on that. And last, if you need a death certificate, a birth certificate, or marriage performed, you can email the township clerk at plainsboronj.com. With regard to recreation programs, this is usually a time when the spring programs are in full gear. Fortunately, they had to be all canceled. However, the recreation department is currently planning summer activities, including summer sport and achievement camps, until we get further guidance from the governor's office on whether or not they can continue. Right now, they are being planned. If you have any questions about what activities are going on with regard to recreation, go to the Plainsboro Township website, click on recreation, and you'll be able to see on the recreation website the activities that are going on. The Wyckoff House continues to be closed. The Plainsboro Preserve, even though the environmental center is closed, the trails are open. However, please practice good social distance, wear a mask, and please park legally in the parking lot. All senior programs have been canceled. And something very important, the food pantry is closed, but it's open on appointment only. And I want to thank all the people that have donated food, money, and particularly the police department in Plainsboro have actually made home deliveries from the food pantry. And lastly, there is a trivia night planned on the recreation Facebook, May 7th at 7 p.m. Again, everything is on the recreation website. Before we sign off, I just want to ask Neil or Les or Brian, is there anything else you want to add? And if you do want to add something, we'll go in the order that we started. Brian, anything else you want to add to the public that your department is undertaking?
No, I don't, Anthony. I don't have anything additionally, unless I missed it the first time.
Okay, great.
We'll have to see how the editing goes.
Okay, I agree. Les, anything else?
No, I really don't have anything further to ask, just that everyone out there in Plainsboro just stay safe and well.
Thank you. And Neil, you have the last word if you have any.
Yeah, I have 2 quick points. First one, please be advised that the Recycling Conservation Center is still closed, even when staff comes back and starts normal operations. That recycling center is closed until further notice. Additionally, our next bulk waste event scheduled for June is currently, it's still scheduled, but that also may be postponed depending on obviously what's going on in that day and time. And finally, for those who utilize the Lenape Trail, if you've noticed, we are currently undergoing a maintenance project on it. Half of the Lenape Trail this year will be the asphalt walkway is being maintained, and the other half will occur next year. Please have patience with us. The project should have been done already, but due to the weather of the recent week, the paving aspect of it has been postponed. But hopefully good weather will prevail and we will finish that project next week.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. Again, for the public, the best way to get information on what's going on in Plainsboro is on our website, www.plainsboronj.com. I want to thank everybody for their patience, and particularly during this experimental I Am Plainsboro virtual attempt. You'll probably see more of us this way than the way we did it in the past. So with that, thank you very much and be safe. Thank you, gentlemen.